Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Hello, everyone, and welcome to where energy meets the divine. I have a little bit of a cold, so hopefully I won't cough too much during our conversation. I wanted to talk today about careers and work, one's profession. Collectively, the entire human race is on the precipice. That means you're already locked into it. We're locked into the vibration of what I'm going to be describing. In other words, nothing really needs to change in the human reality. We reached a tipping point where enough humans are on the vibration of aligning to their true occupation, their true hobbies, how they create wealth or express in the world, that enough human beings have woken up regarding this topic that they are in alignment with receiving that experience, with having work in their life that brings them great joy, incredible fulfillment. That's a normal thing to be delighted in what you do in the world, besides raise a family or drive cars or, brush your teeth, all the other things that we do as well. But to have an occupation of some sort that you're really, really connected to, you're really aligned with. I know that anyone who's already had that experience, like myself, you wish everyone on the planet would have that same experience. In fact, it's so shocking when it first happens to be aligned into something that works for you, that shows some of your greatest potential and abilities and continually feeds you happiness. It's a shock. And then when you look around yourself and you see so many people misaligned in their work, it makes you sad when you already have the experience. So I want you to know that the human race is already in perfect alignment to have a job that is massively fulfilling for them, even if it's not a vocation. It could be that maybe somebody wants to raise a family, but for whatever reason, they don't think that that's what they want, because most people don't have a clear awareness of what their natural gifts and talents are. They don't know. And granted, there can be multiple. It doesn't have to be just one thing. In fact, once someone steps into their divine plan of who they really are, they begin to morph new ideas and perceptions about their capabilities, about natural gifts and all of those things. It's like a normal, natural spiraling of vibration and energy, as if a switch has been turned on you and there's nothing you can do to turn it off. It can't turn off. You will always be aligned with your greatest gifts and your greatest abilities, and they will only grow. So because we've reached this tipping point on Earth, meaning we don't have to wait until enough people knows what it feels like in order for it to be available to everyone. On top of our head is the crown chakra. The tip sits deep inside the skull, and then it can extend miles. This is the one chakra that can get as big as it wants to. It can reach out to infinity. Like many channelers have huge, gigantic crown chakras. So when the rest of humanity is not in alignment, or we haven't reached the tipping point, which could be 1 million, it could be 3 million, it could be 1 billion people. I don't know what the exact number is for a tipping point, meaning that the consciousness has shifted so much that it's now available for everyone. So that's happened with work, but there are other areas in our human experience where it hasn't reached the tipping point, like healthy, high vibrational, meant to be partnerships. That has not reached the tipping point on Earth, because there are still vast amounts of people who are not aligned in relationships. So we haven't reached the tipping point. It doesn't mean you can't have it. It just means that your crown chakra, your sense of consciousness, needs to expand, let's say on the topic of relationships, beyond the Earth's atmosphere and be unique in its vibration of your consciousness in order for you to receive it. So it takes a little bit more internal work, a little bit more internal consciousness to allow something to happen in your life that the majority of the population is not vibrating with, right? And that's why when there's certain topics, like people who have healed themselves of horrific diseases and didn't seek out modern medicine, you know for dang sure their crown chakra is vibrating on high when it comes to health and wellness, because we have not reached the tipping point. We're so close. We're so close. But we haven't quite reached the tipping point where the majority of the population believes in their power to heal themselves or others. We're close, but we're not there yet. So some people have done that, right? And there's people who work in the healing world like I do to assist others to allow their crown chakra to move into new perception minus the vibration of the rest of humanity so that they can manifest and create what they want. Very exciting. But when it comes to careers, hobbies, whatever your work situation is, we have reached the tipping point. So that means you don't have to work so hard to get your crown chakra vibrating above mass consciousness in a highly unique way in order to manifest your true potentials, your true magnificence. You don't have to wait for that. And that's exciting. And true, the pandemic kind of clarified that for us, where the majority of many, many companies gave people freedom to work from home, to not be managed, right? To not be super managed, which isn't healthy, doesn't make people happy. Even if people get to work from home 2 days a week or 3 days a week, that is significantly empowering. I know there are some people that don't like to work from home. That's great. Hopefully there's an office they can go into, or they can go into a shared workspace where a whole bunch of people are working independently with different companies. We have a lot of those in Seattle where people can just rent a space or join some membership and go into a large room where a whole bunch of people are just working independently and not in their home. So what I'm telling you today, or I'm sharing it more directly, because this is something I've known for an extremely long period of time, that you don't have to work so hard to figure this out. The truth about that is regarding everything: healing your body, creating that love of your life, having all the resources you want, anything that you want, you truly don't have to wait till everybody figures it out. But when it comes to this work situation, all of us are in a phenomenal high frequency vibration of potential and opportunity that has never been seen on Earth before. Maybe not since prehistoric times, where humans actually did have more freedom, where there wasn't corporations that you had to drive up to and park and spend hours and hours and devotion and smile at people you don't enjoy or you would never spend time with, right? Like, that's not fun. That lowers the frequency. It lowers the vibration. So because this is true, I'm asking you, what are you doing? If you haven't discovered what makes your heart palpitate in such magnificent gratitude for what you've discovered about yourself, what are you doing to get there? Because all the doors are open, the windows are open, the runway is clear. And of course, the one thing I think that's imperative, whatever it is that one wants to manifest, is that you do need to follow joy in that topic. So a person can't heal their body if they're focused on something that's problematic. No matter how problematic it is, they cannot focus on that in negativity, even though logically that makes sense. I have to be smart and wise. I've got to make these decisions. I have to follow these protocols in order for my body to heal. And it doesn't mean you have to ignore those. If you want to go on automatic pilot and do certain things to help your body be well, you still have to then raise your consciousness and change your perception about what health means, what wellness means, about what you deserve, about how valuable you are. And you have to focus on joy, perhaps 20, 30 times a day. So because the windows are open, the doors are open, the runway's free, what aspects of potential career opportunities are you allowing yourself to glide towards that brings you smiles on your face and twinkles in your eyes and this revved up energy inside of you? What are you doing? Are you making notes of when you notice a high spike of happiness? Are you noticing how grumpy you are at work or how unmotivated you feel throughout the day because you don't have something that's in alignment with you that shares with the world your natural gifts and talents, your true soul? So if you're not allowing yourself to walk that yellow brick road, which is the self-discovery of your magnificence, I think you need to. I think you need to put some attention there, some energy there, because the airway is free. In other words, you have the potential, more so than ever, to self-discover your genius. And when you do that, it becomes more possible for others. Other people go, oh, well, Jennifer did it. She figured out what makes her happy, and she didn't have to sell her house or go live in a tent somewhere in the woods. But this is what humans think. Their logical mind goes, if I don't have that golden parachute, which doesn't really exist any longer around the world, if I don't have that, I'm going to have to go live, in my parents' backyard in a abandoned car. I mean, really, this is what people think. They may not say that, but that's what they're thinking. But you can't do that because that's a low frequency. That's a low vibration. That's negative thinking. So what are you doing to light your soul on fire? This should be, if you have not discovered this yet, and you really want this in your life, this should be on your radar. This should be what awakens you in the morning. This should be your guiding light because the runway is clear. The universe is ready for you. The earth is ready for this. And when you step into it, other people will start to get extremely curious and very hopeful in a very positive, authentic way about their own future. So let's get going. Let's get going. Please only follow the sparks of life, the sparks of your light. Only follow those. Stay out of your logical mind because it will never make sense to your mind. Look at my weird career. My mind could have never figured this out. So I didn't allow it to. And here I am. Okay, I'm going to go to the phone lines now and listen to some callers' questions. For those of you who kind of freak out when I give an answer, just know that this is highly personal. It's based on what this person needs. You don't know what they need unless you're reading their energy, which that would be lovely too, but you don't know what they need. So don't make weird assumptions. Okay.
Hi, Marie. My name is Jessica, and I'm from Ohio. I love your podcast, and I am very appreciative of you giving back in this way. So, my question is, so I have a daughter, and she's 4. She's autistic, and
Cute.
at the moment, nonverbal.
Yeah.
And her father and I have been having behavioral issues with her. Like, she has been violent towards me mainly, but she does go to an autism therapy center, and they've had issues with her there,
Yeah.
but not as bad as I am having it at home.
Yeah.
She is violent towards her dad, but not. It's mainly towards me, biting, scratching,
Yeah.
pinching, and it's been hard for me to deal with, honestly. So
Yeah, it's hard.
I wanted to know, I've prayed for communication. I've thought, like, okay, I picture us communicating, me, her, and her father, communicating with each other clearly and directly and understanding. And I've let it go. And I've done the what ifs, what if we communicate clearly and directly, not just verbally, mentally, physically, spiritually. And I haven't received any communication.
Yeah.
So I'm asking for some guidance with that. And what do you see as far as it? I am on your wait list for a reading for her. So yay for that. I know it could take a little bit because you're busy. I also went through childhood trauma. So my fear is, okay, what if I'm missing something? What if something's
No.
going on with my baby girl that
No. No.
I'm not seeing or
You're not
hearing
missing
or
anything.
feeling, you know?
No. No.
Um, I am doing inner work on my trauma for myself, and trying to work through that. And that's been a whole big thing, but I know you, you don't have a whole lot of time. So I ask for your guidance, Marie,
Yeah.
with my baby girl, because
Yeah.
I'm at a loss with it, and it
I
kind of hurts
know.
me. It kind of hurts
Oh.
me mentally. Because I'm
Oh,
like, what's going on? It's something
oh,
happening that I'm not getting.
nope.
Anyways, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you answering this question. Have a wonderful day.
It's my pleasure, Jessica. I'm so sorry for everything that you're going through. And even though your daughter's 4, she's not really 4, she's like 2 in a way. And I think they're trying to help her and ramp up her learning so that she can continue to progress, which is excellent. Autism, especially the degree of autism that your daughter has at this time, I do think she'll become more verbal, but not for a while. Not for a while, like maybe 7 years, hopefully sooner, but I think you'll notice like 7 years. I see her like pre-adolescence when she becomes a lot more verbal. But autism at the degree that your daughter has it, and really all kinds of autism in a way, highly functional people with Asperger's have it. It's not as significant, but autism, literally, the lovely people are in 2 different realities. So their physical form is on earth with us, but their awareness, their consciousness kind of sneaks out into a different reality, a completely different reality. So it gets confusing for them. And that's why it's hard to help them to focus or to learn, and why they may misinterpret this reality because they're in a different reality. So as I was listening to you, I was talking to your daughter, the part of her that's in a different world. And autism became somewhat more common on earth. I like to use the word popular because I don't think anything's wrong or bad. That's just me. And that's just how I roll, so to speak, because we need to change the entire educational system worldwide. We can't treat everyone the same and expect everyone to learn exactly at the same time, the same things. It's like, that's ludicrous. Everyone's unique, and it's okay if someone doesn't learn to read until they're 8. I mean, who cares? It doesn't matter. Or 9 or 10, or there's so much to absorb in the world. And when we're looking at souls and their genius, there could be other things that are more valuable for a soul to absorb. So as I was talking to your daughter, so I'm having a sidebar conversation with her, if you will, and she really has no idea that she's hurting you. She was a little surprised when I explained it to her. In the world, that this part where she's spending more of her time there, it's oddly enough, it feels more peaceful. I don't always feel that when I work with autistic kids, but for her, it's a more peaceful world. And I think maybe she just kind of gets jerked out of it into our world, and that's where she gets confused. But here's the most important thing for you, because I was asking the question as you were talking. What does this mean for the mom? What does the mom need? Because I think this child is being well cared for, deeply loved, unconditionally, cherished. I mean, what more could anyone want as a being, to be so adored and loved and cherished, which we all deserve, by the way. But you're fiercely independent, you're really strong, and you're used to handling everything. And you need help. I think you're going to need a worker in your house to help you with your child if you don't have one. I think that you're going to need to be able to go out and do other things, to have a life besides motherhood. That's what I think. So I want you to contemplate that and get comfortable with it. Autistic children, not all of them, but some of them at your daughter's degree, don't even really care who's around them anyway. Most of the time, I mean, of course they love their family, but they don't have that same sort of connection that you keep projecting onto your daughter. You keep projecting this. You look at her from a chronological age of a 4-year-old, and she's not chronologically a 4-year-old from my impression. She's more like a 2-year-old. Adorable, sweet, cool. I love her flashes of presence too, where she really just comes together in earth. So stop projecting problems onto her. This is an adored, loved, cherished child. She's perfectly fine. And think more about yourself. What do I need? What would be in my interest? How much time do I need away every day? What else do I need to be doing to fulfill my life? Because your child is telling you, you don't need to be here all the time. I'm okay. I'm fine. I'd be curious to know what you think about my thoughts. Okay.
Hi, Marie. My name is Michelle from California. I'm meditating now regularly along with reading and studying my gifts. I have received clairvoyant messages, sometimes years in advance, in lucid dreams of the future. and was healed several times in my life, and I'm drawn to the healing arts. And I have clairaudience also. My first question is about my daughter, Nicole, and if you have any insight on her health. She's had 2 foot surgeries as an adult for bone spurs on the left foot. And one of the surgeries, I had to detach her Achilles tendon and reattach it. And she has a titanium plate there. She's suffering from inflammation, swelling, and pain, and is told she needs another surgery, which I don't feel good about. I'm concerned as to why she's not healing and would greatly appreciate any guidance. She also suffers from PCOS, acid reflux, and problems with food getting caught in her throat, and is having tests done. She's not able to lose weight and is very heavy, along with having anemia. And Nicole's now told she had a late growth spurt of her lower jaw after
Oh,
braces as a teen, and is now in pain, and her teeth do not touch in the back, and she can't chew properly. The orthodontist is recommending a jaw surgery and braces after. She's 32 years old, and this June, and it just seems like a lot for such a young lady to go through. Any guidance that I can encourage her with would be amazing.
Okay, so Michelle, I'm so sorry your daughter's going through all of this, but she doesn't listen to you anyway. So I'm not sure why you're working so hard to help her, because she doesn't listen to you. I would definitely hold off on the jaw surgery. I'm not saying she doesn't need it, but Nicole vibrates her energy in victim consciousness. So we need to get her to change her frequency so that she can attract different physicians, different doctors. Like if she needs jaw surgery, if she needs it, then we want the best surgeon around. We want it to have the best success. So, but I keep coming back that she doesn't listen to you. And you waste so much of your time trying to help your 32-year-old daughter who doesn't listen to you. I think that's the problem. I think if you stop trying to help her, stop putting so much energy in helping her, which is the same thing, whether you're, visually helping her or vocally helping her or sending your energy to help her, it's depleting you. She's not listening. She's stuck in victim consciousness. She needs to fix this herself. We cannot fix things, for people who don't want our help or our opinions or our thoughts or our energy. There's nothing you can do. So I do think, though, if you pull back, which I know is not your nature and sounds terrible to pull back your energy, but if you pull back and focus on you, I think your daughter might start to go, I wonder what mom thinks. But she's going to do what she wants, and she has all along. But her main problem is that she is drenched in victim consciousness. She was born with this misbelief, and she has an opportunity in this life to heal it, to change it, to have a different perception. Clearly, her health is what's asking her all the different ways that she could shift her perception and her awareness. But I don't think at this time that you will be a helpful part of the equation. I'd love to know what happens if you pull your energy out, if things start to change. Okay, thank you.
Hi Marie, this is Esther. I'm calling from New Zealand. I'm 46 years old, and about 2.5 years ago, I made contact with my birth father and all my family on that side, well, some of them. It turns out that my birth father is a very spiritually aware person. He can see things in people and hear things, and is very connected to his guides and that whole world. It seems that the whole family on that side has these sorts of abilities and gifts.
Great.
And I was just wondering if you had any idea about why this might have happened at this timing in my life, and whether you had a sense of my potential next steps, anything I could focus on, or a skill that I should look into. Anything would be greatly appreciated, and thank you.
You're welcome so much. I do think that this is the perfect time for it to happen. It doesn't matter when things happen. It's just the perfect time for your consciousness. So I think it's great that you've been reconnected with your dad's side of the family and that they have beautiful spiritual beliefs. That means that's a part of you, something for you to deeply explore as something that's inside of you. because I think you've always been fascinated in it, but you didn't really look at it as something that's a potential for you. Now you have the universe shining a spotlight on you going, hey, now will you believe? Now will you reconsider it? Now will you step into your own natural gifts and abilities? I think you're highly visual. So please rest in the lower half of your body so that your third eye can project visions to you. Perhaps meditate doing that and see what starts to happen for you. But yeah, it's obviously in your family line. So that means you want to have these experiences on earth, and you hoped that because it's in your blood, not that it has to be, it's not a requirement, but some people choose to have it in their blood so that they will not miss the opportunity to step into their abilities. So don't let your logical mind try to figure out, why did that happen now? It doesn't matter. Got to let go of all these logical questions that humans ask, and just be present. Just have fun, get excited, get happy. Your energy's low. Get happy. Maybe your dad's side of the family is happier than your mom's side of the family. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Diane. I am from Long Island, New York. I love your podcast and thank you for everything you do. My question is, I have been reading quite a bit about older family members being estranged from their family members or their entire family in general. Generally speaking, is there a reason why this is happening kind of all over the
Yeah.
place? And specifically, do you see me ever being able to see my niece again? Thanks, Marie.
Okay, so interesting question. I'm not exactly sure why you asked it. Your logical mind is curious about this topic. But humanity is changing. They're saying, hey, if people aren't nice to us, if they aren't good to us, if they aren't kind, if they don't apologize, if they don't take responsibility, if they don't have interest, that I'm not interested in them, even if this is their DNA. And there's actually really nothing wrong with that, because we have spent a lot of years where we put people and family members on pedestal. And of course, I'm going to be kind of stereotypical right now, but where people put mostly men and on pedestals, like, this guy's great, even if he's so not great. My ex-father-in-law, who's now deceased, not the greatest guy on the planet, no. And yet his family was devoted to him, and he would be verbally abusive to someone in the family for, an entire day in front of everyone. And everybody just, buttered up to him and ignored his behavior, never set any boundaries, never said, don't speak to me that way. Maybe they were afraid they were going to be financially cut off or something like that. I don't know. But so this isn't a bad thing. This is not a bad thing. People can't change or improve, some people, especially younger souls, unless we start to tell them how their behavior affects us. And that's still no guarantee that someone's going to show up better, more loving, more compassionate, more honest. That no guarantee whatsoever. So that's what I think about that. Now, some families can have those conversations and maybe not completely evolve, like the one troublemaker of the family that everybody's protecting for some unhealthy reason, and allows them to be verbally or emotionally or whatever abusive to whoever they want to, even at Christmas, at the Thanksgiving table. This behavior is not acceptable. We should not be accepting these types of behaviors. Sometimes families can work around those, like they can joke about it. They can have moments of peace. They can have moments of love. They can have some moments of compassion for each other. And those are the families that tend to figure it out and work it out and take care of each other. But if we have people who notoriously are unkind to their children or their nieces or their nephews or their grandchildren, and they're not willing to take any responsibility or to grow or to learn, unfortunately, people don't want to take care of them. Or fortunately, if people don't have that insulated, unconditional love, they might actually do some inner work. They might. I talk to a lot of people who've crossed over, who are in a marriage, men and women, who, at least in physical form, they appeared masculine or feminine, who were married to very abusive people, both men and women. So I've spoken to lots of men who've crossed over and their wives were very verbally abusive to their children. And they did nothing about it. They set no boundaries. They didn't tell their children the truth. They just allowed the abusive person to run wild in the family. And we have a lot of that throughout the world. So that's why a lot of that is happening, because people aren't nice to their loved ones or kind or forgiving. But if families just put a little bit of effort, if the mean, unnice person apologizes and says, I'm really sorry, I'm trying to break this pattern. I don't want to be mean and shame people at the Thanksgiving dinner table. I'm sorry about that. That helps. That helps a lot. It can go a long ways. About seeing your niece, your family is divided and disjointed. I don't know how old your niece is, but the more she's in her adult years, she'll be able to look at her family of origin and make her own personal decisions about what's good for her and what's not good for her. It's really not personal. I don't think you've ever done anything to create this separation, but I do think her parents, or at least one of them, has a lot of unresolved, unhealthy issues that they tend to blame everyone else for, and they take no responsibility. So that's what I think. Down the road. I hope that's helpful. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. I love your podcast. Oh, sorry. My name is Jamie in Honolulu. I'm just interested in any guidance you can provide on why I can't stick with anything. I've done meditation, exercises, breathing practices, yoga practices, but I stop after a few months or within a year because it just doesn't seem to be working, or I'm always looking for the next thing. I don't know. I feel like I have a self-sabotage mechanism, but any feedback you could provide would be great and greatly appreciated. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Jamie. Thanks for calling in. I wouldn't call it a self-sabotage mechanism. You just have a significant amount of self-loathing. You don't like yourself very much. You don't love yourself, and you don't believe in your worth or your value, but you want to. And you know you have potential. You've had this awareness, this consciousness that you're an incredible soul, which is really beautiful. You can see it in others. And so even logically for you, you know it has to be there for you. But then you get involved in something and then your self-worth starts to plummet. It's a pattern for you, a form of victimization and disappointment, actually. So what I would recommend that you do is spend a lot of time with internal dialogue that's very loving and compassionate and kind. And before you do your next kind of, this has got me excited, adventure, let's really work on your self-worth. Let's work on your self-love. Let's work on your self-worth. That's what's missing. And it's not your fault. It was reinforced in your childhood. It is a past life wound. And it's time to heal it, time to let it go. Chop, chop, let's get going. Because the vibration on Earth has changed significantly. So people can put not as much effort into their self-love and their self-worth and get quite a bit out of it. People don't have to work as hard at it as they used to because the vibration is so high on Earth now. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening to the show today. I hope you had a lovely day. I hope you're going into the evening, because I'm recording this on December 4th in the early evening here in the Northwest, that your day is beautiful, that your night is lovely, you get plenty of rest, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.